Hello, audience. My name is Dawson. His name is Justin.
Hello.
And welcome back to another movie review. Today's movie review is for Spider-Man 2. This is the continuation of our review every single Spider-Man movie before seeing Spider-Man Homecoming. The synopsis for Spider-Man 2 is Peter Parker is beset with troubles in his failing personal life as he battles a brilliant scientist named Dr. Otto Octavius. This movie stars Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, Kristen Dunst as Mary Jane Watson, James Franco as Harry Osborn, and Alfred Molina as Doc Ock. So, second movie in the Sam Raimi universe, what did you think?
I think I liked the first one a bit more, but this movie was still a fine movie. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because we did the review earlier and we talked about CGI a bit, but I paid more closer attention to CGI in this movie, and it still hasn't held up very well. But that's to be expected because this movie came out 2004.
Yeah.
So, but that's not really something you really could take a movie like this on as for a CGI from how old it is. But it didn't look amazing. But Doc Ock's arms looked fine sometimes and looked a little wonky sometimes. Same with Spider-Man swinging around, but overall the CGI wasn't too terribly bad for what year it is. The story was pretty good. Doc Ock becomes Doc Ock and then attacks the city. It has another case of damsel in distress with Mary Jane being kidnapped again, but that's just kind of just the thing. It's almost every form medium does it most of the time, so it's just kind of the story. But seeing Doc Ock was pretty cool. The actor who played him did a good job. He looked like the character well enough. Seeing him actually become Doc Ock was cool. Because I don't know much about Spider-Man villains or Spider-Man universe in general. So I didn't really know much about his backstory. So I don't know if this is his true backstory or kind of not, but seeing it was good to see. Trying to play through the movie in my head. I'm kind of tired of movies doing the, oh, I love you, but I can't be with you because I'm a superhero and I don't want you to be in danger. Because a lot of movies have done that, feels like, over the course of the history of super movies.
This being one of the first.
That's
so
true.
It's
not a trope that was overdone at this point, but currently, with all the movies that they've done so far, just in general superhero movies, it's something that happens quite a lot, and it's not my favorite thing to see, because it always ends up, oh, I'll take the risks, I'm gonna be with you forever, and I love you, and let's make babies.
Sure.
So it's just even though it was overdone at this point, compared to nowadays standards, it feels like overdone. But anyways, Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane was great again. She just fits the character very well. IMO. Same with
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, his name will always slip my mind for whatever reason. He did a good job as Spider-Man again. He knows how to pull off a really good, ugly, I'm in pain face.
Yeah.
As we see with, the train scene.
Yeah.
That's a face that you have to just come up with, because when you're filming, you're not in pain, so you just have to make your face look like that, and it's very convincing.
Yeah, there's probably people pulling a rope, straining his body a little bit.
Nah, that makes sense.
But other than that, a lot of his faces that he pulls are a lot of memes. Because he pulls some of just the most ridiculous faces in the Spider-Man trilogy. Mm-hmm. It's just what were you doing, dude? Yeah.
Seeing the train scene in particular, because that's probably one of the most famous scenes from any superhero movie, or one of the most famous action scenes, was really cool. I've seen it in clips and stuff like that, but seeing the entirety of it play out is really cool, because it is a really good scene. And seeing him just fail to stop the train at first, and then just shoot webs everywhere was cool to see. And then all the people were like, yeah, we saw your face, but we'll keep your secret, is something you don't really see very often, because a lot of times when somebody has an identity, or as a superhero, there's either yeah, we know who you are, so we'll tell the world. Or, as we saw with like Tony Stark, he's like, yeah, I'm Iron Man. So, sometimes it's a secret, sometimes, or a lot of times it seems like nowadays, yeah, it's not very secretive unless you're like Batman.
I mean, I just gestured to Justin. If it happened like in 2017, people would immediately bring out their phones and take pictures.
Well, you're going on Snapchat.
Like, it's just exactly what happened. But it's at that time where people had cell phones,
But they weren't camera phones.
not
so.
camera phones. So unless someone was
Carrying
around.
yeah.
So this one, had a lot of modern day superhero movie tropes, but you have to understand this is one of the movies that created those.
Yeah.
So a lot of movies followed them because it works so well with these.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to modern day movies, I am tired of the damsel in distress.
Mm-hmm.
But in the time period this movie came out, granted, not too long ago. I mean, it's only a little over a decade old. That was still a thing that happened quite often in movies, so I had to kind of just take it with a grain of salt. It wasn't too terrible. At least Mary Jane tried, kind of. She picked up a bar, then immediately got hit.
Yeah.
Sorry for that awkward silence. We were expecting someone to walk into the room that never walked in. As I was saying, so Mary Jane tried to save the day, but ended up getting hit. But hey, so did Spider-Man, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I think Alfred Molina as Dr. Otto Octavius is a brilliant casting again. I loved what's his name as Green Goblin.
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, William Dafoe as Green Goblin. And I think that this is another perfect casting for the Green Goblin, for Doc Ock. Origin story's cool. I like the whole thing. I like the redemption towards the end of the movie. I thought the CGI was better than the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, it's 2 years later, so
Technology advanced a little bit.
yeah. And I believe Spider-Man 3 is in 2008, so it's 4 years later.
Really? I didn't know it took that big of a pause between them.
So yeah, so even then it went even further. The whole, I think one of the biggest, hiccups. Literally, I'm having hiccups as I'm trying to say. One of the biggest hiccups within the Sam Raimi trilogy is the love story that they're trying to form.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, though the love story between Mary Jane and Peter Parker are prevalent within the comic books, or him and Gwen Stacy and so on and so forth, are prevalent within the comic books, they have a lot more story to tell.
Yeah.
They have a lot more stuff to tell, a lot more space to tell it, many more issues. While this one you have, 2 hours to tell a story, and trying to shoehorn a love story in any way possible you can, got tired for some people. I felt like in the first one it wasn't too shoehorned in. It felt like high school crush type thing. You're leaving high school, people are moving on, but you're still trying to keep a hold of this girl. This one, some points were kind of shoehorned in here and there, but overall I felt like this one did a very good job. When it comes to the third movie, spoiler alert, the love story gets so over the top that it really suffocates the story. Now, there's so many problems with Spider-Man 3 that the love story, is probably one of the more weaker problems, but it still becomes a huge problem within the third movie. But overall, I just really enjoyed this one. I liked seeing, the action scenes. I like seeing Spider-Man more under stress. I mean, he's been Spider-Man for 2 years now. There's a lot of stuff going on with his family. He only has really his Aunt May, and the problems that he's dealing with her, trying to keep his secret identity, his best friend hating him, and then hating his secret identity, and then as Spider-Man, then later on in the movie basically hating both of them, Peter Parker and Spider-Man respectively. So it's there. I will commend the first two Spider-Man movies for fitting in a lot of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
so well.
Yeah.
They connect it so well to where it doesn't feel like you're jumping around too much.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many plots they're trying to set up at one moment. Because, you know, by this point in the second movie, they were already guaranteed a trilogy, and when they started making trilogy, they already were going to have a 4-movie deal. After the third one came out, they scrapped the fourth movie and decided to do the reboot. But the fourth movie is supposed to be Sinister Six. They're supposed to do the Sinister Six.
Yeah, I think I've heard about that.
And The Amazing Spider-Man 3 was also supposed to be Sinister Six, but they had to scrap that one too. So Sinister Six has never been done yet. Maybe we'll see it in the Homecoming trilogy. Maybe we won't. I hope so, because that's just one of those things that seeing all those bad guys together would be really dope. But just overall, I think that this film was really good. It had a lot of really good memorable scenes in it. This is one of the, like you said, one of the movies, not only just superhero, but action movies in general, that have a really memorable scene with the train scene. And just, it was good. It was good. And, I would want to say I wish it ended here. And it kind of felt like all tied up in a bow, so I'll just believe it and say this is the end of the the original Spider-Man movies, but we do have the third one to go. But yeah, overall, just good stuff. Good job, Sam Raimi. Good job, Marvel. And Stan Lee, your cameos are really short in these two movies.
Yeah.
Because Justin missed you in the first one. I missed you in the second one. So yeah, that's pretty much it from my side.
Sonder ratings and recommendations?
Yeah, of course.
So, like I said, I like this movie, but I don't think I liked it as much as the first one, but I still think this movie was pretty strong in and of itself. So I think I'm going to give this movie just an 8. What do you give it?
I think, I always hear that this one's better than the first one in a lot of ways. And when it comes to action sequences, sure, it is. There are a lot more moments in this one that I don't necessarily like. Like I still don't really get why he lost his powers. I felt like they explained that at one point in something else, but they never really explained it here. I was kind of joking around saying that he lost it because he didn't have enough love, but honestly, it feels like that's what they're going for.
Yeah, because he gets his powers back when Mary Jane gets kidnapped.
Yeah. But, other than that, that's probably been a huge problem with the movie. It's just I think that's kind of dumb. But other than that, I think I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to give it an 8.
Do you recommend?
Yeah.
And I do too, so that's 2 thumbs up. And any final thoughts?
I'm trying to think of a quote from this movie. Thwip. No, I remember it being really, really cool seeing that that Harry Osborn is going to become the Green Goblin in the next movie. I was wrong. But I was really excited to see that in the theater. I was like, ah! But, yeah.
So that's pretty much it for us, guys. Let us know down below, what did you think of Spider-Man 2? But until next time, guys, we'll see you later.
Thwip.